Thank you very much, Dazed 1452. I had hit the toggle and I thought that it came back together, so I guess not. I'm going to start over a little bit. My name is Dave. I'm a woodturner. I started this channel to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher. I want to help turners of all skill levels become better turners themselves. And in the mix of all that, I also get to become a better turner. I always am working to be the best turner I can be. I love really exploring different skills, tool skills, and things that you can do with tools that you have. That you don't have to buy special tools for some things that I do. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me here on Woodturning Wednesday, and thanks, Dave. Papa Rife. Well, Dazed 1452. I don't know who you are, but hello. Unless you're Valerie, maybe that might be a thing. So I started with, I did a spherical box out of this piece of crotchwood. It was bigger than this. I cut out about, that much of it to make another piece. And so I wanted to use this, and I'm going to turn this into a bowl. I was going to make this the bowl's bottom, but it's got a crack there. So I'm going to make this the bottom, and we'll have to flip it around a few times. Hopefully that is shown up. Yep. Friend of your son. Ah, okay. Howdy, howdy. Which one would that be? I have more than one. Yeah. Welcome. Probably Raging Striker, yeah. So I'm going to get this guy set in the chuck, get it secure, and then turn this guy. My plan is to turn both pieces tonight. We'll see if that works out. Working with seasoned wood. Let's get this guy back here. Sometimes can be a little slower than working with green wood. Make sure that guy's not out of the way. Need to move my tailstock back. I didn't want to move it because I'm going to have to move it back for the other piece, but since we're starting with this guy, there we go, then we will move the tailstock a couple of times. Okay, so let's put this in the center of the screen as close as I can get. So I'm just going to start off with a bowl gouge. I want to shape the outside. I was hoping to use this as the bottom because of this little feature here, but alas, that's not going to work. I don't know how far that crack goes down in there, but I know it doesn't come through to here. So this will be my new bottom. I don't want to have to worry about trying to work with a crack down in the bottom of the bowl. This has got some resin in it. That's what's left of the resin project I did on this piece. Let's see what we can turn out of it, man. And hopefully, I'm trying these new microphones. This is my first go around with different mics. And the broadcast last night drowned out all of the lathe noise, so hopefully that is what is still happening. And you can hear my voice pretty well. I did turn down the gain because I noticed after watching the broadcast last night that occasionally my voice would get distorted because the gain was too high. We'll get it worked out. And with this set of microphones, this has been an ongoing experiment to increase or improve rather, the audio for this broadcast. So if these don't work out, well, I'll try the next step that's on my list and see how they do. So since you're the first one I see on chat today, sir, or madam, I guess I don't know. Days, I'm sorry. Days is perfect. Oh, very cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Definitely helpful to know that. I was running off the audio for this camera right here, but it just picks up so much of the background noise that my voice gets pretty much drowned out. And it's super quiet and stuff and nobody can hear. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just make that a feature in the rim. What the heck? Was I gonna make a rim? Thought about making a rim for this bowl. But with that there, the only way I'd be able to do that, I suppose, is if I did another resin pour, which I can do. Let's see what we get here. So Dave, do you have any interest in woodturning? Can hear both sounds and can still hear you clearly. Very cool. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. Let's see, if I give this bowl a rim, how wide would it have to be? Let's see. Pretty doggone wide. Unless I get rid of this entirely, but then that feature will be gone. But no, I'll just make it a straight-sided bowl. That turned out nicely. Let's see, I can improve on that curve. And this will be where I hold on to it. Let's see, I need this guy. So that's where I hold on to it with the shaft when I need to hollow out the bowl. I'll probably wind up going through several bow gouges with this piece because this is crotchwood. It's a lot harder than, and let's see, what is it? Oh yeah, it was ash. Ash crotchwood. And the interlocking grain in the crotch where the branches came together is really super hard. Plus it's got resin, so I've got a couple of the bowl gouges ready to go, but the one I turned last night was really, really hard wood. And I went through the 3 bowl gouges that I had sharpened in advance. So I thought that might be the same kind of issue today. So I got 2 more bowl gouges sharpened up just in case. I think that's ready to pretty much sand right there. I'll have to cut that rim down, but that's okay. If I cut it down, then this will, okay. So yeah, we will sand this. Well, that doesn't matter because I'm going to flip the bowl around to finish the foot when the bottom is hollow, so we'll just leave it as it is. Dave says, learned how to make stools and stuff in high school from a neighbor. I love all things handcrafted. Oh man, amen. Very cool. Kind of sort of teaching myself a little bit about, I turned some legs and a seat for a stool. I want to make 2 stools and I don't know, like a kitchen nook kind of bar thing for my small rental here. I don't do a lot of flat work, but that's where my experience came from as a kid too. I got lucky to have that in school. Wood shop and metal shop and auto shop and home ec and all that stuff that I really wish was still in the school systems these days. Okay, before I do this, what am I doing? Oh yeah. Now let's see if that took care of that room issue. Almost. There we go. All right, so I was gonna go ahead and start hollowing, but now I realize that I still need to sand the outside of this bowl. And when it is reversed in the other orientations, I won't be able to do that as easily. If I do it right now, I can get it done and out of the way. All right, let's lower the lathe down a little bit. Now, since this has got resin in it, I will most likely be doing some wet sanding on this little trip today. So we'll talk about that a little bit when it comes up. Let's see, let's get all my abrasives out of here. That's 320, that's too much. 150 is too much, that's 400, nope, that's 600. There's 220, but it's already used up, so we'll toss that out. 320 is okay. 400, that might be 800. See if I can see the number on the opposite side by shining light through it. This one's not labeled. All right, 220. Let's see, that's 320. Here's my 220. And I'm just going to use my Grex air sander as a friction sander, no air. Because doggone it, the compressor is loud. I'm with you though, Dave. If I have a choice between handcrafted and otherwise, I go for the handcrafted stuff. I would much rather support the craftsperson or the artist, whoever made it, than some corporation who turns out hundreds of things paying their workers diddly squat. And often in some third world country, so yeah. Okay, I need another piece of 220. I don't know how long it's been in our history as a race that we determined the best way to make a profit from somebody else's labor. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. I mean, people trade, bartering and labor is part of the bartering system too. But I mean exploitation, paying pittance for. I just don't agree with all that stuff. Hearing about, the companies like Nike and, big companies that have sweatshops, third world countries that they don't have to pay very much for the labor that they get. It is a complicated world out there. Okay, that took care of that. Let's grab one more of those. You know what? I think I'll hit it with this first. Let's drop down to 150 since this wood is so incredibly hard. And I do find benefits from being a wood turner, like if I need a bowl or a handle for a tool, or I need to fix a piece of furniture or whatever, man, I've got the skills to do it now. I have found though that I really like teaching this stuff. I think part of the reason, actually I'm sure part of the reason is that I'd like to see some kind of skill being taught to people nowadays that they don't get through the educational system anymore. Skills that have been almost lost, right? All right, that'll do. Now we'll start over with 220. Work my way up to polishing that resin. That's one too many. So I guess in general, there are makers and gamers on this channel. My kid is homeschooled. They teach how to follow, not lead. Oh, right. Yeah. So are you a maker, gamer, a little of both? Do you have a Twitch channel I can follow? It's taking longer than I want because this wood is so hard, man. I think I would have learned my lesson from last night, but that has never proven to be the case when it comes to wood turning. So now let's think about beads here. Do I want beads here? No, I don't. So we're done with 220. Moving on to 320. Let's put that away. 800. 320 is over here, but I had a piece right here. I thought. There it is. Still worthwhile using. Oh yes, that's looking very good. And now I realize that I have forgotten my little spray bottle inside, so I gotta grab that really quick. Oh man, it's like starting to get dark too damn early around here. That time of year I know, but holy cow. Up here, Traverse City, in the wintertime, it gets dark about 5 o'clock. So it's definitely much darker, a much longer dark period for the day than any other time. I'm pretty sure that's 400. Let's get some 400 and double check that. All right, so I'm at the point that is not 400, that must be 6. I'm at the point where I'm going to do some wet sanding because I need to polish up this resin. And so I'm going to go through 400, 600, and 800, and then I will grab the plastic polish that I have. And one of the most important things about this process is not to let the slurry that you make when you are doing this, when you're wet sanding, don't let it build up too much and don't let it dry on the piece. You want to keep it wiped off because it will cake up and it will Leave your surface less than desirable, I guess, would be the, why am I folding that up? Oh, what I really need to do is grab some paper towels here. And put those right there. Catch any errant water. My 400's right here. And I'm turning too fast, so I will slow it down. That's why I was getting this guy ready. Wipe that off. I will hit it again with 400. Well, I don't know. We'll see if I got any tool marks from the abrasive paper in the resin. If I do, we'll stay on 400. If not, I'll move to 6. Because I've already got the surface of the timber looking pretty darn good. One of so there's several really important things about doing wet sanding on wood. When it's seasoned, when it's green, it's a different story. You have to be careful with the buildup like this on your abrasive. I'm basically doing the same thing by making this wood wet and then sanding it. But with seasoned wood, you don't want to get too much water on the surface and have a whole bunch soak into the wood. For one, it's going to take a lot longer for it to dry, and this has already got the shape that I want. I don't want it to move too much, so I want to keep the water down as much as I can, keeping in mind that I can't let this dry out while I'm running this on the lathe, because it will stall up a little bit and dry up and cause problems with the sanding process. 400, 220. Generally make a bad time, let's put it that way. That's 150. Sorry, right now I'm looking for what I did with my, oh, I bet it fell down. I have a packet of, there it is, 600 grit that did indeed fall off my lathe. That's 320, but that's toast. You do want to keep the abrasive moving. You don't want it to build, and that's even with dry sanding. But with wet sanding, you really want to keep it moving. You don't want to stick in one place because the wood's a little bit wet. The surface, the slurry that I'm making is a little bit mushy, so it'll put ridges in your surface if you're not careful. So I'm just wetting the surface just enough to keep it wet and the slurry wet, and then I'll keep wiping off in between grits. And we'll see if I need to hit that again with 600. It'll be easier to tell on the resin itself because you'll see the little scratches. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to hit the outer edge here with 600. I didn't quite get all the way out to the edge there. So, new piece of abrasive, since this one is now worn down and clogged up with stuff. Then it's 800 and the plastic polish. This is almost just like turning green wood. I got water coming off the lathe right at me. But I do have to kind of stand in the line of fire there to get the abrasive in the right spot. Okay, I think that will be okay. Expose some new towel here that's clean. And off to 800 we go. Now, when I'm turning timber, just wood, I don't go this high with the grits. To me, it just doesn't make a ton of difference. What's really important is the surface that you start with before you apply your finish. And I don't know, I guess, I know some turners will go to 2000 and stuff like that, but I don't understand why, to be honest with you, because to me, it doesn't do that much more for the surface other than making it, I mean, you know, clearly a little smoother because you got the finer grits going across the surface. And for me, I think it makes it too slippery to hold on to. And really, between most people can't tell the difference between. I mean, if you go to a hardware store and you buy a package of abrasive paper, they come in coarse, fine, and super fine. And the coarse is 120, the fine is 220, and the super fine is 320. So even with most furniture, the most they're going up to is 320. Granted, you're not going to hold something in your hand. You have better proprioception and touch, you know, the sense of touch on your fingertips because there's more nerve endings and stuff than in other parts of your body. But I have, it's really, really hard to tell by feel the difference between 400 grit, 400 grit and 320. It's really hard to tell the difference just by feel. So usually I will go 320, usually at most. It just depends on the wood though. Some exotics, you want to go to 400 just because of the wood. But oh nope, I got to get my plastic polish out. But with resin, I go up higher just because the scratches get finer, finer, and finer. I'm trying to make that see-through. I wanted to say opaque, but no, I don't want it opaque. Otherwise, I would have colored it more. And I got to get that blurry out of that little cavity. We don't want that flickering up the process. Let's make sure that all of that is gone. Nothing there. Okay, cool. I'll step right over here to the left and grab this plastic polish. And away we go with that. All right, so the product I use, and I've had this particular kit, I guess you could say, for 6 years now, because, well, I don't do tons of resin is one thing, but The other thing is that it doesn't take a whole lot to get the results I want. This is a good polish, and I always do my best to start off with the best possible surface I can get before I get to this polish. And as with every other polish, wherever you start is going to be the basis for your end result. So if you start at 320, you may not, if you start doing this at 320, it's possible if you weren't careful and there's a little scratch in there that this stuff won't get that little scratch out. So get your surface, always prepare your surface for your finish or your polish, because stains and dyes and colorants and sometimes even the polish will highlight those scratches for you. And unless that's what you're after, more difficult to get it taken care of after you have sanded every little thing. All right, so I want to do a little spot there, and then since I got the bowl wet, since I used water, it's going to raise some grain. So I'm going to go ahead and use this polish on the wood too, because it does work for that. This is also going to build up a slurry. This is another thing that you don't want to get dry on you. Come on. Because it will really gall up and just make a mess out of what you're doing. It is a really good polish though. Let's clean that off and see if that's just smeared product or an issue with the surface. Smeared product, good. So I want to get rid of all this stuff too, because this is a heavy duty scratch remover. This is called Novus. It was an inexpensive kit. It comes with a heavy scratch remover and then a fine scratch remover and then a plastic clean and shine, they call it. I don't know what's in this stuff. I know that as far as petroleum products go, it's not really on the petroleum spectrum, so that makes me happy, because quite honestly, I think we pay enough to the oil barons. Oil is in everything. I do not use mineral oil for anything other than minor blacksmithing, because mineral oil is not from minerals, it is a petroleum product. And how the hell I think it was the 50s, it might have been the 60s, but I bet it was the 50s, because there was all kinds of that crap going on then. How they talked America, and maybe a lot of the world too, I don't know, how they talked into dipping their children into mineral oil. I mean, rubbing it all over the babies, calling it baby oil. It's not oil made from babies, and it's not oil that's safe for babies. It's petroleum. What the hell? So I don't use that in my products. I know I hear all the time that, oh, it's food safe once it's cured. Okay, but mineral oil never cures. It is petroleum. It does not cure. It might soak into the surface a little bit, but it will never get hard. It will never give you a good coating. What am I trying to say? Scratch guard, a hard surface like a lot of the other ones will. Add some protection to the surface of the wood because of the coating itself. And mineral oil just does not. It never dries. And putting it on cutting boards and things like that means it gets into your food. So what I like to use primarily is the beeswax from my hives here, mixed with orange oil, pure orange oil that's made in Florida, and pure walnut oil that I get from Mike Mahoney. He's another well-known turner. He has several product lines, and one of them is his wood finishes that are made from walnut oil. And he heats the walnut oil, not enough to burn it or boil it or whatever, but I think it's like 100 degrees. It might be 110. Somewhere in that neighborhood. He does that because walnut oil, like linseed oil, will polymerize. In other words, it will harden and give you a hard shell. And when you heat it, you heat treat it. That polymerization begins sooner once the oil is used and it starts to dry. So that's why I like using Mike Mahoney's oil, because it's heated up a little bit and the surface of it dries faster. I would use the word, I guess I could use the word cure. It's not, it's not a man-made chemical, but essentially that's what happens, is the surface hardens and cures. Linseed oil is the same, although linseed oil is toxic right out of the box. You can't eat it. It's an excellent wood preservative, but even working with the boiled linseed oil for long periods of time, and I don't know what that means exactly, years, decades, whatever, can also build up a toxicity level in your blood. But linseed oil is fantastic for treating your wood implements that are supposed to go outside. So is tung oil. Hemp oil is good for that. But hemp oil and tung oil are non-toxic right out of the box. Walnut oil is non-toxic right out of the box. And I started using chemicals like this, I guess we'll just call it a chemical. It's not man-made, but starting using those products, there we go. Because when I started turning, I was doing most of my finishing indoors. Based says, I have to go, have fun, stay safe. Hey, yeah, thank you very much for hanging out, man. I appreciate you stopping by and chatting, man. That's very, very cool. I will, I rarely stream anymore these days, but I'll still find your channel, and maybe I can do that now. I think I can get it from chat, right? Oh, no, that's no, we're not banning anybody. Come on now. I will go to your account and I will follow. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it. And for the feedback. I really, really do appreciate that as well. I'm always trying to improve the channel. I appreciate all the feedback that I can get. All right, so that is pretty well polished. I'm done with this dude now as far as the outside of it. Get rid of that. I've got this brush because I don't want any of that polish left on the surface. I'm getting it out of all the cracks. Toothbrush will work. I have used toothbrushes that I use for this too. I just happen to have this one close by. It's not a toothbrush, but it is a nylon brush for metal work or whatever, I guess. I've got brass and steel, and then this nylon brush too. But just because they say it's meant for steel work or metal work doesn't mean it doesn't work with this stuff. Okay, yeah, that is just a really beautiful surface. I got up to 800 on abrasive paper, but whatever this grit is that polishes the plastic, it's really, really high grit, so that surface has been hit too. So as this dries, because I watered it, some of the grain will come up, but because I was using such fine grained abrasives, it won't be that bad. It might degrade, I don't know, probably to a 6, maybe 600 feel, 400 feel. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to some people, but you know, if you work with wood for a while and you kind of feel what grits do what, how they feel. Sometimes, well, yeah, actually a lot of times I can tell what the sandpaper that I'm using is just by the feel of the grit, but sometimes not. 320 and 400 are very, very close. 600, 800 are actually really close, in feel anyway. Human beings do have great proprioception and can learn to improve on that. But again, man, most people aren't doing that, and you know, 600. I mean, yeah, it makes I guess, in some ways, it can perhaps make the surface look maybe just minutely more lustrous or something like that. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. The higher grits that I usually use are like for working with metal. Autos, you know, painting the side of the truck or something like that, getting down to the bare metal. But with resin, definitely helps. That's why my tool rest is too low. That's why I'm having issues here. And I cannot get the tool up enough to adjust for that. That's a little too high, so we'll take it back one. So for those of you who may still be with me, let's double check my audio there. Badges. Oh, right on. Oh, okay, so I clicked on your... Oh, I've already been following you. Okay, never mind. I'm already a follower on your account. Very cool. So I clicked on your screen name, and it took a minute, I guess, some kind of lag on this end, because it didn't pull anything up right away. But it does show me that I am already following your channel, so that's cool. Hopefully I will stumble upon one of your broadcasts. I know you said you don't broadcast as often anymore, or so much anymore, I guess is what your words were. But hopefully I can stumble across it when it happens. Okay, let's see now. This really doesn't matter. What matters is how I'm going to do the rim of this guy. All right, it is time to change the tool. That one's getting dull. Oh, much nicer. I'm going to send this guy out there. Let's see. Let's do this and that. Go run, be free in the wild. There you go. So, as you may or may not know, I don't know, one of the best ways that you can support a channel is to become a follower. So, I would certainly appreciate it if you would follow this channel, if you like what you see, if it has an interest for you. So I don't normally turn my bowls this way because I'm always aware that as the wall gets thinner, the possibility of flexion becomes higher. And with a thin wall piece, especially when it's green, the walls will oscillate because of their centrifugal force. And so you'll get that not only vibration from the piece, but you have to work in stages, like, you know, go down half an inch, get that all finished, then move the next half an inch, which is what I usually do. But this is really, really hard timber. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that so much with this particular piece. Now, when you're turning, it is a really good idea to only move the tool as fast as it can cut. For one, it's definitely going to make your turning experience a little more enjoyable than trying to fight the wood you're working with or the tool you're working with. Just go as fast as the tool can cut. It'll get done. And if you're not trying to force the tool through the timber, you're going to have a much nicer surface to work from right there. Probably shouldn't do that, but I'm going to leave a little pencil line there. So I need to take the sides down a little bit more. So I left myself a little line. That's the inside of the bottom of the bowl right now. And I'm using that line to the bottom where I want my foot to be to give me a gauge of how thick that bottom is right now. And it's almost even all the way through. I do want an even wall thickness all the way through this piece. What am I? Oh, okay. I thought maybe I was turning at 400 again. I do that often. It happened once intentionally because I had the question, you know, hey, can I do that at a slow speed? Can I turn slow? Well, yeah, of course. Why can't you? You just have to adjust your rate of travel, the tool's rate of travel, the feed into the tool. You cut only as fast as the tool can cut. Doesn't matter what speed you turn at. When you're turning pieces that have huge air gaps, you do kind of want to get that speed up enough that those air gaps, the distance or the time between one edge to the next, is as short as possible. But I mean, there's no reason that you can't turn an entire piece. But this particular aid only goes down to 400. I have turned an entire piece at 400 RPM. It's not the lathe speed that dictates what kind of piece is going to come out. It is your skill level. Okay, a little bit thinner right here. So I'm eyeballing the wall thickness here. I mean, I'm doing it by feel too, as I'm feeling on the wall thickness of the bowl all over it. But I am doing my best to match the inside curve to the outside curve by sight. I do have to pay attention to the wall thickness, or the bottom thickness rather. And now this is much thicker, I can tell already. But I want to see where my bottom is right now. And that is right, where's my other mark? There it is. We'll put the marks on the same side, so I might have to clean off one little bit. Okay, so I'm almost to my bottom depth, but this right here is too thick. So I'm going to address that. And that should have taken care of that. Now what is that shiny stuff there? What is that? Is that water? Oh no, okay, I got a little glint of something, and apparently there was a tiny crack in the timber that the resin penetrated. It's a very small crack, but that's cool. I thought maybe there was a problem with the wood. Nope, the crack got filled. That was the whole point of it. Okay, do I want it any... Oh yeah, I definitely want it thinner than this. Do I want to move on to... I think I'll move on to my negative rake scraper here. I've got a fresh burr on it. This stuff is just really, really hot. I've got another piece of ash that's a twice turned piece. So it's a bowl, a rimmed bowl. I don't expect as much. I expect better edge retention. There we go with my tools with that. It is ash, but it is not like crotchwood or figured ash where it's going to be harder. Am I at the right level? Yep, there we go. So with a scraper, doesn't matter if it's a negative rake or a regular scraper, you want to make sure that where you're making contact with the burr is less than 90 degrees to the face of the wood. So if I'm going straight in, that's 90 degrees, and that is not going to give me a good cut. It's really difficult to get a catch with a scraper. It can be done, but it's difficult. This is a fairly safe cut to make with the scraper. But you want your handle up so that that angle to the wood, that's 90 degrees right there. So my handle up makes this angle less than 90 degrees. So I'm working on more of the burr than trying to catch that bevel. And I'm rarely on the bevel in the first place. I've always had the cutting edge engaged. I guess this is going to be a little loud. But it's because I'm getting the flexion from the timber, the wall's getting thinner. Some of that I can mitigate by just resting my hand on the outside of the bowl, which is what I was doing. I'm not trying to steady the bowl with my hand or push against it or anything like that. I just want some contact so that some of that vibration gets dampened by my own hand. I don't want to put it right up against the wood and like try to force it in, because it's going to create friction, and burns are not fun, especially friction burns. Well, steam burns are terrible, friction burns are terrible. I'm not trying to force, it's just a really, really light touch, just resting against the wood. Ooh, that was a catch. I caught this edge, went right in at a greater than 90-degree angle. Like I said, it's not easy to do, but it can be done. Let's see if we can find out where that was. Right there. That's the catch right there. Fortunately, it's not catastrophic. It is a scraper. I need to put a new burr on this dude anyway. But that's me not paying attention and talking too much. That's okay. It'll turn right out with the scraper. I'm going to put a new refresh the burr on it really quick. Hammer grips. Hey, what kind of tools are you using? Thompson, Jameson. That's a good question. I use on my bowl gouges a Jameson grind, but the tools, and then I do occasionally when I'm hollowing use the Jameson hollowing system. But all of the tools, almost all of the tool steel that I use, even the tool steel that I buy from Lyle Jameson, is Thompson. So most of my tool steel is Thompson. This particular scraper is a Hurricane brand, but all my bowl gouges use a Jameson grind because I prefer that grind. Lyle was my first mentor, so I got really used to, while working in his shop, sharpening all of his gouges that he sold on the grinder before they were shipped. But having Lyle as a mentor, actually, I'm sure it would be the same for anybody. You tend to emulate what you're taught. My style is not Lyle Jameson's style, but I have incorporated, of course, the things he's taught me into all of the other things that I have and am learning from other turners to make my own style. Oh, there we go. I got that curve. Yes, nice. Okay, now I'm going to tip this gun. I'm going to put another burr on this. This is really hard stuff. So I'm going to put another burr on. And I'm just going to leave the lathe running for a sec. I'm going to tilt the tool up off from the flat position so I get that burr contacting, but at a very sheer angle, so I get a really nice smooth cut on the inside. I may switch back to my bull gouge because I don't think this is doing what I want it to do. This is crotchwood, so the grain goes all over the damn place. And that's a really nice wall thickness. So the scraper, there is a little bit of tear out where the grain, interlock grain, is crossing each other. So I'm just going to use my bull gouge, and I think I'm going to have to put a new edge on that. So since I got to do that, I might as well put the edge on at least 2 bull gouges. So lathe is running, lucky for me. And just refresh the edge on these bull gouges. I need to make a video, a sharpening video. I'll do that. I've been working on making short videos, 10 to 15 minutes long, just focusing on specific skills or ideas. I think that having a sharpening video might also help other people really greatly. That's good. Well, since this is going so fast, we'll do bull gouge number 3. Now, when I say I'm sharpening, it's sort of. I'm not really taking a whole lot of material most of the time off of the tool. I'm just refreshing that edge, and I use CBN wheels. I much prefer them over the frangible stone wheels. For one, I use a, come on Dave, what's the name of this jig? Why, my mind just went blank. Wolverine jig, there we go. I do use a Wolverine jig so that the angles that I do on my gouges, which is 60 degrees, is 60-degree Jameson grind. Parabolic flute. It'll be all right. And CBN wheels so that I don't ever have to readjust the jig ever, because the wheel diameter doesn't change. Pardon me, I'll do a little bit of self-maintenance here. It seems that I have broken my thumbnail. So we'll remove that bit. And we'll go right into, let's see, make sure that's not in the way, that's not in the way, okay. And I'll clean up the inside surface of this dude. Now, as this goes around the curve of the bowl, I cannot see what the tool's doing here, so I'm looking. And actually, this might be really helpful here. Let's. You got to switch the camera. Why are you not? Oh, that's why you're not switching the camera. There we go. You can see this line over here. This is the depth of my cut, and that's where I'm controlling my tool from. Since I can't see what's happening right here, I'm pretty much standing at an angle. I'm looking really obliquely at it. I'm watching that line, and I want to keep that depth of cut the same all the way through the entire cut. I did forget, I need to double check my depth here, because I'm not making a funnel, I'm making a bowl. So I'm going to say that that is my finished depth. So I'm just going to have to feather this into where that is. So this is actually going to change depth as I go through, but I'll be watching that line since I can't see up on this side. And I'm only going to go as fast as the tool can cut. Well, I was pushing with my thumb. Now I want to push with the heel of my hand. I think I know what my problem is. I'm having a little bit of issue, but that's because my tool rest is too high for this tool. This should resolve that problem. Oh, lovely making shavings, man. The audio is still good. So I am paying attention to chat. I'm paying attention to my audio meter too. If the sound goes out, it's because the battery has died in my wireless mic. I've got a second wireless mic ready to go. I'll just have to swap them over. Don't think that curve is correct right there. So if the sound does go out, I am doing my best to pay attention. When the sound goes out, I will just take the pause to get the other microphone set up on my lapel here and turn it on. Now we're getting somewhere. Right there is where I need to start. So I'll pick my cut up right here. I'm still just a tiny bit thick in the bottom. Okay, that'll sand out nicely. This is a little thick right there. How's my edge doing? So that's the line right there that I'm following. Came out of the cut a little bit, and to go back and pick it back up. I'm taking a little bit extra time because this this wood is stupidly hard, man. The edge is still good. So now I need to pick it up right there. That's really close to even. I want to clean this up a little bit. Down on the bottom though, I can really use that scraper to great effect. So I'm going to do that. "85 degrees is still less than 90. It doesn't have to be some outrageous angle that you're trying to use a scraper with. It just has to be less than 90. That got it. Nice. And that is a pretty nice surface, so this is going to sand pretty easily. Let me just see though, play around and see if, put a fresh burr on this guy. We'll see if I can maybe coax just the tiniest shavings out of this side of the bowl here, right in here, and maybe pick up some of those tool marks. With just a really light touch. Just working my way back and forth, barely grazing the surface. Whoops. Don't know what I hit there. We're going to find out. I mean, I was pulling shavings, so that's a good cut. Oh, yeah, it did. One of those little plastic pellets came out. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna have to replace that. I don't know where that went, but I've got some more. So just right in there. So one more burr on this tool should finish the inside of this bowl. I just needed to take a little bit more care with it than what I was doing. I didn't have to adjust too much. It's not like I was really trying to hog things off with this, but I just had to take a slightly lighter cuts to not get that tear out. Usually, using a burr, it doesn't matter what direction the grain is running because the burr doesn't give a damn. When I'm contacting just the burr, it's a very, very, very sharp but small cutting surface. And usually it can leave you a really, really nice surface on your piece. Oh yeah, that's lovely. I'm not going to have to sand that much at all. I am getting some flex. I can move the side walls of the bowl, even though this is seasoned wood. You can see that flex there, and that's what's happening when this thing's spinning around really fast. So the lighter the cuts that you take, oh no, I gotta get that. Yep, I got just a little bit of a not a divot, bump right there. I almost got it. So just very light cuts. Still pulling shavings off, that's what that is. Because I've got the burr on it. Goodness gracious. See that? Got just a little bit left to go. Got a little bit, oh, that little nub there. I have, oh, that was it. I have plenty, the wall thickness is even. I have plenty to work with. I could take a little bit, I could stand to take a little bit off of there. And not affect, yeah, there we go. Not affect the whole piece. I don't want a thinner wall down on the bottom or a thinner wall at the top. It all has to be even. And that's pretty even. So that there is the inside finished. Let me clean up the rim a little bit here. Let's see, that is going to be not bumpy, so that'll be all right. Take the sharp edges off of it. Again, that's another really light touch. Just chamfering the edges a bit so I don't get, you know, well, I'm not going to force my finger into that because I'll get this spinning around, but it's not a sharp edge, and the rest of it I'll just clean up with sanding. So that's pretty much it. All I got to do is flip the bowl around, so I'm going to sand this rim here with what am I going to use? I'm going to use 220, I do believe. 600, 800, did I put it away? Yes, of course I did. So I'm not going to sand the inside of the bowl on the lathe. I'll do that off the lathe if I do any sanding whatsoever. But I do have to fix this. Pop in another plastic bead. It popped out of the resin, and then glue that in place, and then I can finish the rest of the inside of the bowl. So now I'm moving to the foot, which means I got to take it out of the chuck. How are we doing on time? 9:30, not bad. And I will get rid of this guy for now. Oh wait, no, I don't have to do that. Will this fit? Yes. I was going to grab a glue block on a flange, but I'll just grab this glue block that's not on a flange and put it in my chuck. I'll bring up the tailstock. Grab my leather and shelf liner here. Move these tools the heck out of the way. I don't need the scraper. Gouges must move. Oh, and so does the light. There we go. And now we'll grab the live center here. I'm just going to use this as a friction hold. Out of the way. I like to use a little bit of the foamy plastic shelf liner with a piece of leather to protect the wood. I don't want to put too much pressure into this because I don't want to make any marks, especially with this green bowl. I don't want to make any marks in there. So I'm just going to tighten this down enough once I find the center. I'm just going to tighten this down enough that I can't easily spin this on the chuck like I'm doing right now. That's all the pressure I really need. So let's go through the process of getting this thing to run true again. We'll shift that way. And a tiny shift this way. And let's see what that does. And we're close. This got to go down a little bit there. That may not be enough. Nope, not quite. Maybe I'm not going the right direction. Nope. So bear with me, this always does take just a little bit. But I want it running true so that when I do the foot, it is on the same plane as the rim. I don't want the bowl like leaning over or anything like that. I still don't know that that's right. It is not right. So we will do this. Let's see, I need to lower this anyway because it's too high for the bowl gouge. Let's put this on a 45. The audio's doing well. All right. Coffee stream. Oh, cool. I'm just gonna try to coax it into the spot. I think I did go the wrong way that time. Let's bring that up. I don't guess I really need to turn the lid on for the rest. All right, so we'll take that up a little bit more. Oops, that might have been too far. If it had a center, well, even if I'd had the center mark on the foot already, that may not have been the right spot to put it anyhow. That's a lot closer. But usually it is the right spot. I just didn't have that center divot since this was put into a chuck. You're just going to mess with me until okay, closer yet. may seem, I mean, it can be a fiddly process, but it's worth doing the fiddling. There we go. Now it's closer yet. So I'm moving in the right direction anyway. The better I get this, the better my cut will be. Well, I don't have to finish anything on the outside of the bowl. I just want this to be as close as possible to running through, so that, again, the foot is on the same plane as the rim. Getting just a little bit closer each time. Oh, that might have been too far. Or not. All right, still moving in the correct direction. I hope I'm not keep hitting the same divot in the bottom of the bowl. Closer yet. And it may seem like sometimes, you know, it may seem to you like you're going just a little bit overboard. I'm here to tell you that this pays off in spades. Getting everything running true pays off in spades. Alright, so that is less than a 32nd of an inch off of center. If I could just eke out just a skosh more. I think I just figured the whole thing up there. Nope, now we got it where that's almost perfectly true. Okay, I'll take it. I will take it. So now I want to check and make sure that my friction holds. Okay, I was able to shift it a little bit, so I'm just going to give a little bit more pressure from the tailstock. And now, I shifted it a little bit again, so just a little bit more pressure. I just want just enough to keep this from turning, like, with some, not force, but some pressure. And I'm not trying to force it, I'm just trying to give it a spin. So that'll work for me right there. And the reason for that is we got the leather padding and the shelf liner padding in between the two pieces of wood. The more I lessen that space between the two pieces of wood by crushing those together, the more chance I might get an imprint of that block of wood inside my bowl, and I don't want that. Hey, don't you back off there. Oh, my tailstock started backing off. I'm out of two again. What the hell? That is not supposed to happen. So it's come off of my true. Oh, that was too much. I hope it wasn't. So when I get it finally back running through again, I'm going to lock the tailstock down this time. It backed off on me. I hate it when it does that. Nope, I don't accept that. I know I had it better last time, so I am not going to accept that. That I will accept. Okay, so now I'll check the bowl again to make sure. Yep, able to spin it. Make sure it's still running true because I may have moved it out. That'll work, I'll take it. And we'll lock this guy down so it doesn't back out again. Well, maybe I just had to clean off some of the dust from the cutting edge because it just wasn't cutting properly. Why does it look to me like it's coming out of true? Because it did. So somehow it shifted a little bit, and I'm going to have to put it back. I may have to put a little bit more pressure than I usually do to keep it in place. That's not right either. Alright, so audio's back. As I suspected, that other microphone, let's see, that was, well, it was longer than 2 hours. That one only lasted 2 hours last night. That's kind of a bummer. I'm hoping that next time I think I will keep these marked, and I'll mark this one that I have on now. And keep track of them, because if this is not the advertised battery life was 5 hours per battery, and so far the best I've gotten out of the one microphone is 2.5 hours out of that battery, and that is disappointing. Not that I'm going to stream, I don't know, maybe I will stream for 5 hours sometime, I have no idea. But to have it stop in the middle of a broadcast is annoying. Okay, there we go, that's cleaned up. I'm going to get this cut down a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of detail right here. See that move? I don't know if you can show you, it's not on camera. The hand wheel moved on my, it's locked down, but the hand wheel moved like it was trying to back out. Okay, a little bit of sanding there, and then this is a done piece. And that, I think I'm going to have to sand off the lathe. That's, again, disappointing. Okay, let's see if I can clean that up. Nope. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. See if I can get this thing in there to do a little shear scraping. Yep, sure can. I won't have very much to have to worry about sanding, I hope. It'd be nice if it was running cooler than that, but it's not, so be it. Now all I got to do is unlock this guy. Actually, let me leave that in place. Ooh, you know what? I'm not going to cut that knob off yet. I may go back in. I do know that I've got to replace that plastic ball that came out of the resin. So I think I'm going to leave that nub there, so if I need to put this back on, I will have that material there, and I won't have to put a divot that the point puts in the bottom of my bowl. Okay, so no mark. Oh, yeah, just the tiniest bit of a mark. I did have to really get that dude on there. But nice, nice even thickness all the way through. I will polish the inside once after I get that plastic bead put back and glued into place. Then I'll polish this so that's all see-through, and then I'll have that bowl. So that is one finished bowl. We are at 9:47. All right, let's move on to the twice turned bowl, this piece of ash. Did I set it over here? This is it, right? Nope, that's not the guy. Where'd I set it? I moved it out of the way and it disappeared. So this is a bowl that I roughed out from a green billet of wood, ash in this case. Twice turning is you turn it into a blank, basically. This is now a blank. And I left the wall thickness a little thick. This was ash, so I didn't have to leave it like 2 inches thick or something. It's like about 3/4 of an inch thick, but it's even thickness all the way through, so that during the drying process, one part isn't drying faster than another part because it's thinner or anything like that. And you let it season. This has been sitting in my shop seasoning, we'll use the hashtags, seasoning for oh god, when did I turn this? 2017, I think. So 7 years. It's been sitting in my shop, seasoning, moving with the weather, all that kind of stuff. My studio is not insulated. I don't know that this is going to run true, but we're going to try. Or at least have it close. I need to clean out the bowl area, get that nicely turned, and then I'll flip the bowl around and turn the outside, which is going to be a little trickier. Well, you know, I could turn the outside first. I know what my thickness is. Thinkity think, think, think. It would be a lot easier if I could get the outside done first. Not impossible, it would just make the process easier. I can do it either way. Thinkity think, think, think. How do I want to do this? Do I have a center mark? I do. You know what? Let's try it. We'll put that. Is that the one I used? Yep. Put that piece of wood back in my glue block. The audio still working all right? Yes. Okay, cool. And we'll do it on friction drive. I'll turn the outside first. It'll be a lot easier to match or even the wall thickness if I can get the outside turned first, and then when I have this turned around, I can actually follow the inside curve, have the inside curve follow the outside. I can do it the other way around, it's just a little bit more difficult. Oh, maybe we're already there. Let's see. Yeah, it's moving too easy. Now maybe I don't have to worry about putting a divot in. Actually, I don't have to worry about putting a divot in there at all. All right, so that surface is running pretty damn true right there at the foot. So that's what I'm going to work with. We'll call this the center, my center point. I am going to decrease the wall thickness here, but also decrease the thickness on the foot because I have to tuck this in, so I'll have to take that down. So that little divot will disappear in the relatively near future. This bowl gouge is ready to be sharpened again. That resin is pretty hard stuff too, man. It will definitely dull your tools. There we go. All right, since this is a bowl and it is in bowl orientation, that means the grain runs perpendicular to the lathe, as opposed to spindle orientation where the grain is running parallel with the ways of the lathe. I need to be able to work from the highest to the lowest point. In other words, I need to have grain support from the grain as I get through the cut. Since this is in bowl orientation, the best way to get that cut is to work down this way from the bottom to the rim. This is ash. I might get away with a little bit of cutting the other direction. We'll see. I may have to do a little bit of that here. We'll see. But you want to cut because the fibers are laying this way. If I can get my hands, I'm not standing in front of the lathe, right? So the fibers are running this way, right? And as I'm cutting through the fibers, I want to have support underneath this fiber so that as that cutting tool pulls through, it doesn't peel away. It's supported, so now that can get cut, and as I got through here, that can be supported here, going down through the grain. If I cut the other way, like this, then I'm cutting up into the grain, and it can, well, you can wind up with a surface like that, a chewed up surface. You can get tear out, you can get a catch a lot easier that way. You just have a generally bad experience if you, well, depending on your skill level too, I have to put that caveat on there, but the wood wants to be turned the way it wants to be turned, and my best advice is to follow what the wood wants. It may be contrary to what you're thinking. It has happened to me. Think, oh, I got to cut it this way, and the grain wants to be cut the other direction, and it's a much cleaner cut. And it's like, well, I would have normally have done that, but here we are. So it is pretty important that you figure out what that is with the wood. But in general, when you're in bowl orientation and the grain is perpendicular, you want to cut from the top to the bottom. And what I mean is the top of the fiber down to the bottom of the fiber, so you have support all the way down. As you see these rings here, this ring is supporting that ring is supporting that ring, and so on and so forth, all the way up here. So as I cut down this way, everything is getting support. If I cut this way, then I'm cutting into this ring, which is then undercutting this ring, which could tear that out, which then and that disc carries forward. And that's kind of what may have happened right there, although that looks like I pulled off with the tool and pulled off in a bad direction and got a minor catch in there, and probably left it because it was a twice turn piece green rough blank, and I knew I would pick it up later and fix that. So I just wanted to get the drying process even when I started with that. So let's get this guy running. I'm turning about, or at least it says about 1,000 RPM. Oh yeah, this is going to be a nicer bit. This is also ash, but it's not ash crotchwood, so it's going to not be so hard on my tool. Oh, I need light back here. Let's see. Hopefully this doesn't wash out too much. Let's see what it looks like here. That's not too bad. I hate these LED lights. I don't, you know, they say, oh, it's like natural lighting. No, it's not. It is not. It's terrible lighting. I don't like it. It messes with the cameras a whole lot. So since that was a light cut, I mean, I was going into the end grain, but that was a light cut. Now I'm cutting with the support. You can hear the difference in the wood as opposed to the other, but again, it depends on your skill level, what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with something, don't try it, or at least get better skill with your tools. I always preach about tool handling skill is very important. that is the world's largest secret as far as wood turners are concerned. The secret is there is no secret. The secret is practice. I had a young fella actually ask me, because I had a bowl that was about an inch thick, and he said, "So how do you get them so thin?" And I said, "Practice." He goes, "Oh yeah, okay, I get it. You don't want to tell me your secret. I understand." I said, "No, dude, that's the secret. The secret is you got to practice, man. It's taken. I liken it to a Pablo Picasso story I read about, right, where a woman approached him in Paris and wanted one of his illustrations, his paintings or whatever. So he painted it, and then he told her the price, and she says, "Oh my God, why so expensive? It only took you like 30 minutes or whatever the time frame is." He goes, no, you are wrong. This actually took me X amount of years. And she was flabbergasted by that. And he said, "Well, it has taken me this long to get to this point where I can actually do this in a come on, Dave. English is escaping me all of a sudden." That he could actually do that task. He could actually make it that fast. I tell people sometimes that too. Like, how long did it take you to make this bowl? 8 years. Oh my God, it took that long? Well, yeah, it's taken me this long to get to this point where I could turn that bowl out in that shape the way I wanted it. Yeah, it's a lot of practice. It's taken a while. So don't get in a huge rush. Everything is going to take some time. I have yet to meet anybody who was pick up any tool in the world and just start working with it. I haven't met anybody like that. So everybody has to start at some particular level, but it's almost always a beginner level, especially when it's something new. And it's okay to be at a beginner level. That's where everybody starts eventually at whatever task. It's always a beginner level. And the more you practice, the better you get at that thing, whatever that is. In this case, we're talking about tool handling skills. The more time you spend behind the wheel, so to speak, the better you're going to get, if it is consistent practice. All right, so I'm getting really close. I need to take this down a little bit and work with this curve a little bit. I think this is going to be a thinner bowl, I hope. That's the goal anyway. Right now I'm working on a good outside shape and something that I can gauge off of when I'm turning the inside so that my wall thickness is even all the way through the bowl. Did that do it? Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit more here. Do I like that foot though? Well, let's take this down. Oh man, I think life is too short for, we're human beings. We like to create our own frustrations, but life's too short for that stuff. I'm trying to keep it simple and try not to frustrate myself. And find the most efficient ways to use these tools, and also understanding that if you get into a cut and you get out of the cut, back off, go back to where you got out of the cut and pick it up again. Don't try to force your way through. If you're experiencing a bad cut, get out of that cut. Don't try to force it through. It's only going to get worse. Once you start getting that vibration and you start trying to get that cut, you're only going to get more vibration. So back out, start the cut over. Don't be afraid to do that. Your experience will be much nicer. Okay, a little bit thinner on the bottom. I'm hoping not to take too much off of this. What I'm trying to do is give myself a little bit more of a rim. So I'm taking a little bit more off the outside so I can get this rim tucked in further. I want a little bit wider rim than what is here right now. Okay. I'm hoping, yeah, okay, it looks like you can see the cuts all right. Let me move the camera just a touch more here. Wait for the lag to catch up. There we go. See all the cuts I'm making all the way across. If this is not a good angle for you, or you'd rather just see the overhead, let me know, and I'll just go back to the overhead. All right, so I need to go, well, that's pretty even right now. I think a little bit thinner in the bottom. I don't know if I got that curve the way I want it, but it looks really close. Yes. I'm a little bit thinner right there than everywhere else, so I guess I'm going to have to match that up. I am going to roll the dice. Let's bring that light back here. Okay, there, it's starting to get a little too much vibration going against the grain, so I'll just come back to here. Feather that in. Now let's check everything. I know I've got a little bit of tool mark there, but I'm not worried. I'm just trying to get, okay, now I'm just a tad bit thick, like right on this point, which is fine. So let's clean this up. Do some shear scraping here. Going to some regular scraping right here to get that little knob. Now let's check that thickness again. Okay, so I just need to clean up that a little bit. Taking really light cuts with a shear scrape. These are the shavings that are coming off. There's all these little bitty angel hair shavings is what's coming off. And I wish I could remember Don's last name. He was he's a turner, but he was instructor's assistant for Rudy Lopez when I took classes with Rudy the first time at Aramont. So that is that's even the fine. This is what I'm pulling off now. This really super fine stuff. This is what I was pulling off, and this is now where I'm at. Anyway, I don't mind taking my time shear scraping because it means a lot less sanding, and that means, and if I'm sanding, I'm not turning, right? That's my idea anyway. And when I met Don, it starts with a G. I cannot remember his last name, unfortunately, right now. But he keeps several bow gouges ready to go to shear scrape, because he will shear scrape and shear scrape and shear scrape, and that's his same philosophy. If he's sanding, he's not turning, he's sanding. This way, I'm still turning. I'm just refining the surface to a point where I can start with a much higher grit when I get to that point. And that's my goal with this. I want to, well, with every piece anyway, I want to have the best surface I can get to start with before I even put finish on it. Yeah, I'm a little thick right there. All right. And I think I can tell in the curve too. We'll take a light cut. Not even a 1/16 of an inch. Ah, that nailed it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna finish shear scraping. And a little bit to clean up right there. This is the hard part because I can't go with the grain on it, since it's right in this corner. But I think I can pull it off. Shavings are so fine. I'll be dogged. Okay, so that's even. All right, how does that curve look? Okay, I think I'm happy with the curve too. So I'm just going to, let's see, that's going to be my foot down here. So let's go ahead and set up 4H. Hold in the chuck right here. Most of this is going to go away anyway. I want to keep my foot really close to the actual bottom of the bowl. I got just a tiny bit of work. Well, that could just be the inside. And that's what I say. How does that curve look? That curve looks really, really nice and pretty clean. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to get in here a little bit better though with my spindle gouge. And clean that up. There we go. That's lovely. Almost no tool marks. And the curve, you know what? I'll go with that. That's a nice curve. So we're going to call that good. I'm going to sand the bottom now. And then we'll flip around in the chuck. How's the time? 1/4 after. All will be done with this bowl, I'm pretty sure. So now that I have this lovely surface, I can start at a much higher grit than 120, 150, whatever. I'm going to start at 220. I could probably get away. No, I'm going to try 320. I might be able to get away with that. Let's see, this is 8 and 6. I can put these away because we're not doing any more wet sanding right now. That's 150. That is too much. That's 400. So there's my 220 and my 320. We'll try the 320 first. If I need to back off, I'll go to the 220. But I think I've got a good enough surface that I can start here. Slow the lathe down. And let's see. Sure is feeling smooth. All right, so I'm going to go back to 220. The 320 is not taking that little bit of tool mark out, but and it looks like it's on the end grain for both sides. Everything else is pretty smooth, so I'll hit 220, go back down to 220. Back down, go down to 220. I wasn't there in the first place. I was just contemplating it. That's nice, man. Very, very nice. This is why I talk about tool control so much. Not only is it a more pleasant turning experience overall, the finishing process is simpler because I don't have all that mess to deal with starting at 60 and having to get all that tear out and all that. I've got this already going because I'm working with sharp tools and I have really worked on my tool control skills so that I can get to this point in my turning capability. All right, so it almost got it all out, so I'll hit it some more. We're almost there with the 220. I think I'm going to grab I'll grab it now and use it in a minute. Not that guy, that guy. A dowel rod, so I can get right in that curve there. Yeah, that looks now almost all gone. How's my abrasive? I need another new piece of abrasive. Almost there. I probably should bring this up too. A lot of times you see me put the disc on the Velcro and then spin it. I'm looking to see that it's centered on the piece. So I'm looking at the outside edge of the abrasive because I don't want it oblong off one side too far so that I can get right into a corner or whatever, not worry about one bit of it is sticking out too far. So when I mount the sandpaper, that's the first thing I check, is to make sure that it's centered. And I'll just keep working it till those tool marks are gone. Those are gone. Got just a touch right there. So these are all gone. All right, cool. I could do this with the compressor running, but as I said earlier, it's just too loud. I usually wear earplugs when I'm running the compressor, and I don't want to subject you all to that noise. Okay, yep, there's just a little bit there. I wonder if I can get that by hand. Let's see, where'd my guy go? There you are. So the grain runs that way, so I got to push the sandpaper. So I have my support as I'm cutting through the surface. No different than using a turning tool. I want to go with the grain. So I'm just sanding in one direction, and it's that direction. That way I don't stand a chance of raising grain by going backwards. And that take care of it, almost. Okay, and we'll go one more spin around with the, let's see if I can get this. Oh, I think I can get this in there. That works. Another piece of abrasive, that one's chewed up already. So I don't need that dowel rod. Oh, that's hot. Sorry about that loud noise, but I just about burned my finger on that surface. That was a really hot surface, but sanding does that. Okay, let's see, what have we got for tool marks? How about this guy? Sand out towards the edge this way. Okay, there's that one. And new one I just added, so we'll get rid of that. And then right there, let's see, yep, it'll be this way. A little bit more there. Actually, I did burn myself, holy cow. And it wasn't from friction, man, it was just the heat of the wood. Damn. Oh well, no, I'm running at my slowest speed. Get rid of that sharp edge. Yeah, the wood's heating up and it's cooking the abrasive. Gotta be careful with that. This time I'm not going to put my hand on it right away. Dang it, man. Yeah, that's not a fun place to have a burn either. Is there a fun place to have a burn? Probably not. Okay, so that's 220. I'm going now to 320. No, actually, let me finish this outside of the rim here. That piece of abrasive is now toast. How's my rim look? A little bit more 220. I Chihuahua. That was a hot dude, man. And I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on the abrasive against the wood, and still that, I mean, it's going to heat up. It's cutting away surface material. Okay, now I can go to 320. Whoops, I forgot one thing. Oh, did I forget? Yes, I did. A little bit happening right here. And right there. I took care of that one. Okay. What in the world? Now, how did that happen? I think I just moved it, and now it's out of, it's no longer running true. Damn. I just hate it when that happens. Now I gotta play the fiddle game. Getting closer. Oh, wrong direction. I guess that's probably, if that is a, what is the most frustrating thing? It's this. Okay, let's try that right there. It's closer. But it makes a difference. It's not out much, but it's out. That's this side. Come on. I am going to fiddle with it till I get it. Okay, why are you not moving? What is the deal here? All right, I'm going to check to make sure this is all flat. That might be throwing it off, but it is flat. I need this outer edge to be running true so that when I run the sandpaper across it, it doesn't leave a weird, there it is right there. Doesn't leave weird marks because it's sanding the high spot and skipping over the low spot. I need to be able to get all the areas equally. There we go, we got it. So let's lock this down. I've still got 220, okay. I think I got just a little bit up here, yeah. I'll have to get it from this angle. Think that. Why did I do that? All that did was aggravate the burn. All right, I'm going to go over this one more time with the actual, with the Grex sander, so that I have the foam backing behind it and the abrasive conforms to the surface shape a little bit better. Oh, wrong direction. There we go. Okay, not touching the wood till it stops rotating. Oh, looks very nice, right? 320 it is. I hope this doesn't seem excessive to anybody, and if it does, well, I'm going to disagree with you. Because, again, the better surface that you can start with before you put any finish on, the final finish on the piece, the better that finish is going to be. So it really, really does pay off to be particular about your surface. I know that there are career woodworkers out there who've been doing it for a lot longer than me, and will tell you the same thing. The finish you apply is only going to be as good as the surface that you put it on. All right, that was 320. Let's take a look, see if we find any marks. Oh, we do not. We do not. And that's just dust, right? Okay, cool. So the outside, oh, nope, just a little bit here on the rim. There we go. All right, so the outside's now finished. Let's loosen that dude up. Take this out. And that is a really, really nice surface. Just do it. Just do it. Get to the chopper. Practice, practice, practice with purpose. I will tell you, when I first started turning, and I'm still not afraid to, I'm not afraid to go to 60 grit if I need to go to 60 grit on something. 40 grit, I've done 40 grit, but that was way, way long time ago. Do I want a new gouge? Yes, I do. Over 8 years ago when I first started turning, I had to use a lot more sandpaper than I do now. Spent a lot more money on the coarser grits. The coarsest grit I have bought recently is 150. Yeah, 150. I try to get my surfaces where I can start somewhere higher, 220, 320, something like that. The audio is still coming over okay, very good. Got to pay attention to that because the microphone batteries apparently do not last as long as advertised. All right, let's get rid of the elbow poker guy. Live center can get out of the way. Need to move the tail rest further back because the handle of my tool is rather long. I need to shorten this guy. I really need to shorten this handle. And the light over that way. I don't need this light now. You have this light. That looks pretty good on camera. Yeah, okay. Oh, look. No, wait. I don't know what that's from. Oh, that's from that light up there. I thought maybe I was getting a glow through the side there. Right up in here. But that is the light from that direction. Okay, I need to move my tool rest. Time to clean the waves. Oh, here's a way to do it. Come on now. Get up there. Wrench. Let's see, I will make it. Would I be able to get? Yeah, I will. Okay. And is that the right height? Yes. All right, let's see. Now I can really get like calipers in there if I want to get super precise. Now I can get calipers all the way around that the outside is finished. So let's take this guy down some. Did I slow that down? Yes, I did. All right, what the hell was that? Stay. Banjo moved on me that time. Like, what is going on today? Huh. I'll say that tool steel is not the right angle on it. I'll have to take that back to the grinder. Hold on a second here. Set my other, no. Oh, whoops. I didn't change the tool steel in the first place. I thought I had. That's the sound I want to hear. So I'm eyeballing the angle. I'm standing over this and I'm looking at the outside and matching that angle by pointing the bevel in the right direction. The bevel is what is going to tell you where the tool wants to travel the easiest. That's where the cut wants to go. The bevel itself is not actually, when you're making the cut, the bevel itself is not or shouldn't be making contact with your piece. It's just the cutting edge that you want to make contact. So I get my anchor on the tool rest on my body, my hand and elbow are tucked in. So that's my anchor point. I get my bevel set in the direction that I want it to go. My flute open 45-ish degrees, depending on how the wood wants to be cut. And then I can start my cut. And as I get the tool up in there, I just gotta slightly rotate or slightly move the tool so that the bevel, and I wish you could see this, the bevel is not actually even touching, it's just the cutting edge. But the bevel is there to guide me in the right direction. All right, so that is the thickness that I want to play with. I'm getting some noise here, so I'm going to do a little bit of scraping. To clean this up, there we go. I'm getting some flexion. Not a lot though, but I'm getting some. So now this is all clean, and now I got to match that wall thickness all the way through, and it's already really even. But we're going for, what is that? I will say that's 3/16 of an inch, I guess. A little bit less than a, we can measure it. How about that? 3/16. So I want to match it all the way through. I like the rim now. I'm not going to wind up taking much off the inside of that rim. So that's what I was hoping for, like a shallow-ish kind of bowl with the rim. I guess, like a large soup bowl maybe, but that's not why I'm making it, but all right, you got to get out of the way. I'm going to take this in stages because I'm going to start getting more and more flexion as the piece, the wall here gets thinner. Oh man, that's perfect. Love that. So I'm going to take it in stages so that I'm not just trying to cut all the way through. So if I set that there, I'm going to have to round that corner. That's pretty even. So I want to round this corner off. Need a little bit more right there. Giving a little bit of support with my my hand, just a little. I think I like that curve now. Let's see about dressing it up just a little bit more. Then do a shear scrape on the rim. I will round this sharp corner off with abrasive. All right, yeah, we're cooking with gas now, man. I can see where I came out of the cut right there, but I can see that with the calipers too. It's like, oh, it looked like I got out of the cut. Check my wall thickness at this juncture. Still just a little bit thick right there. Alright, what the heck am I doing wrong here? Not doing correct here. There we go. Still a little thick. That's what I want right there. Okay, now I got to follow that curve around. Okay, that's good. And that is really close. I feel like I don't normally do this, because I am getting vibration. I felt like that was just a little thick right there. I don't normally go back like that because of the fact that the bowl is flexing so much, but that got it, so I'm okay. And now I'm going to pull out my negative rig scraper just to get that section right there. I probably should grind the heel off my bowl gouge there. That's what's keeping me from getting that tighter corner. Okay, negative rig scraper. Oh, and I'm going to switch tool rests too. That burr is gone. So I'm going to swap tool rests really quick because this one, the tool does not really glide on this one so much. This is a mild steel tool rest meant to take abuse. And I'm glad I got it when I was a newer turner. I just had to dress it up every once in a while with a file because, like everybody else, I would get catches and stuff like that because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And having that particular tool rest was a huge help. All right, come on. There. Oh, that's right. I cut myself yesterday there with the box. That's why that hurt. I think that is enough. A little bit more. All right, this one should not have a memory, so. Okay, there we go. Let's go. Thank you. So just a series of really light cuts with a negative rig scraper just to clean that up. Get that curve correct. Couldn't quite get it with my bowl gouge. There we go. And now I'll finish off the bottom. I like this center tool rest. It's a hardened steel and the tools just glide right across it. So again, a really light touch. I'm just wanting to knock the high points off so that everything is on the same level. Around that corner. There we go. Right into that corner or that curve and right off that corner. So now that's all really clean. That'll be really nice to sand up. Am I a little thick there? Just a little thick right here. I don't know if the sound of the tool is translating over the microphone, but that's the sound of the cut that I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. That dude is turned. Let's see about cleaning up this tool mark here. Right on the edge there. And that's cleaned up now. All right, I'm gonna get froggy. There we go. And that rounded that edge over. I'm still gonna hit it with abrasive, but that worked really well. Very cool. I am pleased with the way this is coming out. So a little bit of abrasive. Let's see, I think we'll grab that guy. That's 150. Well, I'll have to use the 150 here. Slow this down. Audio still coming over okay. What the heck. Yeah. So all this I'm going to sand off the lid with the Grex sander. I've got a backup pad that has a radius on it, so I can get right up on those. Or actually, you know what? I'll leave this on the lathe. It's 11 o'clock. I'll finish this guy tomorrow. I just need to sand the inside here. We're at 11 o'clock, and I'm going to call it the end of the broadcast. I'm going to do a quick touch-up, see what that looks like. Oh, wait, I've got this guy. Got another backup pad that's radiused here on this paddle. So I'm going to put some abrasive down in the bottom here. Maybe I can do all this in the next couple of minutes. But I'm going to throw this out there. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, please put them in chat. I am paying attention to chat. The last person to send anything was Hammer Grips. But if you have any questions at all, this is live and interactive. Please put them in chat. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding here. I want to see.
If I can get right down in there and this guy. Mostly, I'm still gonna do it off the lathe. It's definitely a better surface now, but I got a little bit of work to do in here, so I'll probably wind up doing that by hand if this won't work for me correctly. If I cannot get this, my skill level is not enough to get this to work the way I want it to. Oh, that might do it right there. Let's see, let's find that guy, like that. Alright, so it's not going to take care of the whole problem. I still have some work to do. But not anywhere near as much now. So I won't turn the bottom off yet. The foot yet. Until I have this completely sanded on the inside. So I'm going to call that, excuse me, a wrap for the evening. I see that. Sorry about that. I forgot that was on. And hey, since it's running, let's blow everything off. Now we'll stop running very shortly. So there we have it, almost finished ball. The wall thickness is even all the way around. Again, I'm going to shut that off. Never mind. Well, I'm still going to shut it off because I don't need it for the rest of the evening. Another glue block that fell down. Oh, wow. What is this? This is 60 grit. So I have a piece of 60 grit here that just came off. I just found it underneath the shavings. It just blew off a bunch of shavings. It's never been used. So I did at one point have 60 grit abrasive that I used because my turning skills were just not there. It is what it is, and it's not that way now. That's a good piece of abrasive. We'll keep that. Okay, so this was Wood Turning Wednesday. My name again is Dave Reif. I am a wood turner. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. Found out I had a knack for it, but I fell in love with the process, and I want to learn as much about it as I can. Whatever hits my interest anyway. I don't know that. I don't know where my journey is going to take me the whole way. I have no idea where I'm going to end up, other than a box at some point, because we all got to go there. But on this journey, I don't know where I'm going to wind up, so I want to explore as much as I possibly can. And I do that too because as a teacher, I feel like I should know what the hell I'm doing. I should know what the heck I'm talking about if I'm talking to people, not just blowing air and saying, well, this is the way you got to do it. I put all of this to practice. Every single bit of it I put to practice. I'm not saying that other turners don't. Some don't. But in general, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that what I teach is things that I put into practice myself. And it has been as part of my own turning journey. I really enjoy teaching the craft as well, and that's where I'm trying to guide my career now as an instructor and demonstrator. I'm going to be an artist for however long I can get away with it. But I really like to teach. So that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, just to become a better teacher, better demonstrator. I'm always looking to become a better turner, so I love listening to other turners, even other woodworkers, because I can take Sometimes I can take things that I've learned from flatboarders and apply it right to the lathe, maybe with a little bit of modification or whatever. But if it fits my style of turning, or it's a facet that I can add to my toolkit, so to speak, I'll add it in a heartbeat. I don't care who it is that tells me. I am not so hung up on when I'm working with someone or watching somebody or taking a class or whatever. I'm not so hung up on what it is they're turning, because it could be anything, any object. That's not the key part to me. To me, it's the process and how they're doing it, what tool skills they're using, how I can glean that information for myself, and then in turn be able to pass that on and shorten the journey a little bit, smooth out the bumps and ripples on the highway and the byway of the wood turning world, for other turners. I'm fortunate that I have received that myself. I started turning by watching YouTube videos, which I do not recommend unless you know the turner is a good turner, knows what they're doing. A lot of what I found, turns out, was done for the views, and so I was doing a lot of unsafe things when I first started turning, and I almost gave it up, but I lucked out. There is a wood turning club here in Traverse City. It took me 3 years. First 3 years I didn't know they were here, but I happened to wander in the library, and every year we put on a display with the local library for the month of October. It wasn't advertised at that point when I found the club. I just happened to be walking in the library on an October day and saw all this turned stuff in the cabinets. I'm like, oh my God, where did all this come from? And they told me there's a wood turning club in town. I'm like, well, okay. So I got into the wood turning club, really unsure of myself, but I got hooked up with Lyle Jameson as my first mentor. He was the president of the club at the time. And so I worked with him for a couple of years. I worked inside his shop too, shipping his tools and getting things ready, sharpening, all those things I did. I was fortunate enough to do a little bit of work on some pieces that he was working on or had worked or set aside, and he was readdressing a few years later. So I got to learn some really nice stuff from Lyle. But it's Lyle's style, right? I want it to be my style. So I've been practicing and practicing. I've spent thousands of hours a year, not just 9 to 5, 40-hour work week, 2,000 hours a year. No, I've done 3,000 or 4,000 hours a year. But again, it's been my therapy. A lot of nights where I woke up, bad dreams, nightmares, or I couldn't get to sleep in the first place. I go out here and start working on things, and it gave me a focus, a singular focus, instead of all the focuses, the foci in my head, all the voices, all came to a point. And wood turning is a unique endeavor, and I'm sure it's not the only one, but in my mind it's a very unique endeavor where you have to be focused on the here and now. You have to be focused on what you're doing now. This is an inherently dangerous prospect to undertake. You've got a lump of material on a rotating headstock. It's going, whatever it is on the outside edge, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. When that comes off the lathe, or you get caught up in it, you're done. Maybe not done, but I don't want to get sucked into the lathe. I want to be able to do this as much as I possibly can. So I always try to err on the side of caution. I don't want to get cocky and go, oh yeah, my tool skills are so good, I don't have to follow those rules. No, 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 no. I want to be able to do this until I'm in the ground. I want to be able to do this. So I work with body mechanics all the time. Those are the things I teach. Slowing your pace down to cutting only as fast as the tool itself can move through the material, tool handling skills, all those things. But I enjoy this so much. Clearly, I talk about it a lot, but I enjoy it so much, and I enjoy sharing it with people. It's just a natural progression for me, I think, to move right into teaching. And I really enjoy it, man. It's a blast. Even on the nights that I'm broadcasting, because this is an educational, live interactive educational channel, right? That's how I designed it. And even when nobody is watching, I am still, I guess, I mean, you can say in a way I'm still putting on a show, right? I'm still demonstrating the whole thing. And as I work through it, it gets more and more cemented in my mind. Or little things click and say, oh, no, I could say it this way to make it simpler. Or so I'm always trying to make things, distill them down to the simplest mechanics, and talk about a lot about using the major muscle groups, and not the smaller muscle groups to work through this, but use the major muscle groups, because that's where all your power is, that's where all your control is at. And I'm a control freak, so I want that control here, and I do everything I can. I really do. I work really, really hard to keep that control in the studio. It could become unhealthy otherwise. It has been unhealthy for me. I do have those control issues, PTSD as well, some OCD. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one on the planet, but this was my, I don't want to say release, because that's not the right word, but this is where I can go to work those things out. This is one of those safe places I can go to work those things out. So I talk to other veterans all the time. Well, I talk to everybody about the therapeutic benefits of art and turning as therapy, and beekeeping, because I'm also a beekeeper, as therapy, because it really works. And once you can get the muscle memory activated when you're working with the tools, the more you get the muscle memory activated, the less the mind chatter affects you. And the more you get those tool handling skills down, the less that all that nonsense that's trying to distract you, it goes further back into the background, and your focus is where you're at in the here and now. And that's really important with wood turning, but it's important in life to be focused where you're at, not where you were or where you think you're going to be. It's where you're at. So I want to thank you very much for joining me on these broadcasts. I really appreciate it. I want to be able to get this word out. I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. I hope that I will see you again next Tuesday and or Wednesday. I do stream Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 to 11 p.m., sometimes a little bit later, depending on the project that I'm working on. In this case, I'm not going to, because it's just a little bit of my understanding. I'm just going to let it go until tomorrow. I've got other things to address this evening. Again, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you stay friendly. I hope to see you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And I hope to see you again out here, Woodturning with Dave. Hope you have a good night. Thanks again, folks.